It's time for our top 10 lists of the year. Exciting time. Before we want to get into it, I want to say a little bit about these kinds of lists. These lists are fun to do. People take it too seriously, way too much. They're like, well, what's the objective top 10 film? And it's like, there is no such thing as objectivity when we're making lists. They change depending on your age, particularly gender, life experience, so much. But so just to remind people, these are our favorite lists, our favorite
Yeah.
films of the year that mean a lot to us. So feel free to disagree, but again, we're not trying to say that these are the best films of the year. So I'll start off with my top 10. We have a lot. We've added slowly more and more categories when we do these. Um, so
Yeah, well,
my number 10 is Black Bag, which is the Steven Soderbergh spy thriller with that starred Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett among more. And again, it's kind of a spy versus spy. Everyone's spying on each other, but also that there's complicated interpersonal relationships. Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender are their characters are married and they're both spies and they can't really trust each other. But then he's like a wife guy and will do anything for her. And it's 90 minutes and it just cooks the whole time. I mean, Soderbergh he did 3 films this year, and this was the second one. It's just really tight 90.
my number 10 was The Naked Gun, which is funny opposite Black Bag because it's not quite a spy thriller, but it's kind of in the loose shape of something like that. It's a comedy, right? Like madcap, slapdash, goofball, reboot comedy from Akiva Schaffer, one of the Lonely Island guys. Man, I had a ton of fun in this movie. Like I did not. I don't recall laughing a whole lot at the theaters this year, and this was one that genuinely got a few out of me. It reminded me of putting like Jackass Forever on my top 10 just a couple years ago. Like, seems silly, but
Right.
like there's something to it. Like, I had a great time with it. Liam Neeson, Pam Anderson's in it. Paul Walter Hauser's in it. Goofy, fun. I don't know where it's streaming right now, but yeah, I thought I'd slip that in way late in the bottom. Black Bag did not make my top 10, but it did make honorable mentions for sure.
Naked Gun it was a really funny time. And I remember thinking Pamela Anderson is so funny in that, and like you kind of don't expect it because you think she's just going to do the blonde bombshell bit, which she does. But yeah, there's a lot. She gets a lot of the good jokes. It's this bit where she's like doing jazz stuff, singing jazz, and it's
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh my god, this is like kind of incredible.
Yeah.
Moving on, my number 9 is the Phoenician Scheme, the Wes Anderson film, which starred Mia Thrapleton and Benicio del Toro as a father-daughter duo trying to repair their relationship while he's trying to run all these schemes and to get money for this big project. Lots going on, very busy movie, but this was the first Wes Anderson film that I've liked in a long time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Also, the first on our list here that has crossover. You'll see that a little later in my list. My number 9 was 28 Years Later. I did not think I was going to think this movie was cool, dude. Like, I really didn't. It'd been so long since 28 Days Later had come out. 28 Weeks Later wasn't done by Danny Boyle way back when. And then there's this huge gap of time. And then 28 years. And Andy and I were reading the news over the year, and it was like, this is going to be a trilogy. And Sony only made the first two. And Nia DaCosta's. Like, it just seemed like none of this was going to work. And this movie ends up being an absolute blast right out of the gate. It's scary. It's fun. It's got really cool action and like big colors and this super cool bullet time thing that I was really into. And I know people have seen it since that either like don't even recall it or they're like, oh no, I thought that was lame. And I was like, nope, that was like magic to me, dog. Ooh, I like a cinematic technique I have not seen in a theater before. Thank God. 28 Years Later is a ton of fun. Ray Fiennes, Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson. I can't remember the name of the kid, but I know 28.
Oh no, I can't do
I
either.
know. And I know, here's the thing 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, the sequel, is coming out mid January. Thank God. I was looking at the January releases and it looks like it's going to be rough. And that one's going to be a bright spot in January. So I'm looking forward to reviewing that in just a couple of weeks.
Alfie Williams is the place
Yes.
Spike. 20 years later is higher up on my list. I'll let you know in a second. But yeah, absolutely love the movie. It's an emotional journey. Strangely, it's while it's a zombie movie, it's a coming of age movie of our young protagonist Spike, which is interesting because it looks like Aaron Taylor Johnson was maybe the protagonist, or Jodie Comer, or kind of traditional zombie stuff, and it's not really their story, and it's a different kind of story altogether. It's about a boy growing up, learning that the adults in his life haven't been truthful about a number of things, and that's really the growing up part. Is that adults are kind of full of it in a lot of ways, but emotionally really moving feature. And I can't wait for the Bone Temple, which comes out soon. We're gonna take forever on this. Number 7.
No, we're moving through. We're moving through. We're doing okay. No.
Number 7 for me is Eddington, which was the latest Ari Aster feature about the fictional town of Eddington, New Mexico, a COVID-era Western, which pits the mayor, played by Pedro Pascal, against the sheriff, played by Joaquin Phoenix, covering all manner of topics that happened around that time: masks, COVID, civil unrest, riots, guns, political stuff, you name it, it's in there. Movie's incredibly uncomfortable, also, but hilarious, and really about how it's very impossible for opposing sides to kind of talk to each other in this day and age. It's very prescient and continues to be since then.
Yeah, Eddington's higher up on my list as well. That's the thing. We're going to start running into repeats here in a minute before you know what the segment's going to be over. So hold fast, all right? And shout out to my brother-in-law who got me Eddington on Blu-ray for the holiday. It's real shit, man. I appreciate it. Number 8 for me was The Phoenician Scheme, which Andy covered already. That was his number 9. So I'm going to jump up to my number 7, Begonia. Man, it's so funny. Andy just rewatched yesterday, so I feel like I'm probably not the one to talk about it, but he can weigh in when he gets to it. Begonia is New Yorgos Lanthimos' film, starring Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone. Jesse Plemons is an employee at a company who believes that the CEO of his company is an alien, and he kidnaps her to try to prove it. And she's like, "You're crazy," and he's like, "No, you're crazy." It is a great boilerpot thriller. It's small, it's intimate, it goes places even with a premise like that, you still would not expect. It is a great time. It is a ton of fun. Andy, what's your number 7?
Begonia, what I was going to say, was my number 6. Yeah, really funny on second, strangely funny and still really good on second watch. My number 7 is Sentimental Value, which was the latest Joachim Trier Norwegian family drama, which also starred Renate Reinsve, Inga. I can't remember her.
Oh, dude,
her
you're
name.
hitting the big names. I don't.
Yeah. I said Elle Fanning.
She plays Agnes. She's great. Oh yeah, I can't remember.
Elle Fanning, Stellan Skarsgård. Yes. It's a family drama. Stellan Skarsgård plays the patriarch of the family, who's been a successful film director, but has been estranged from his daughters. Comes back into their lives, wants to do a project with them. They're not really interested. They fight about it. They fight about the house. It's about the healing power of art, that it's kind of the way they can communicate together. Some real funny stuff. This is the movie that Jay Kelly is trying to be.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's a great read. Let's see, your sentimental. My number 6, I guess, is Weapons. I was a little surprised Weapons didn't make your list, but I think you put in honorable mentions. Maybe you didn't, but Weapons is the new film from Barbarian director Zach Kreger. This is a straight horror with a little bit of comedy dashed in, starring this is where the names
Julia Garner
sneak up on me. Julia Garner as a teacher in a small town when 17 kids in a classroom mysteriously go missing. This teacher is left to blame and left to answer questions about where they went and why they all went running out of their homes at 2:13 in the morning. 2:17 in the morning. Weapons is a strange sort of feature. It goes places you don't expect. And man, I just had a great time watching it. And I rewatched it not long ago because we were putting these lists together and I want to see if it kind of had a spot. And it's one of those movies that, isn't for everybody, but just, I don't know, it gets you good. In fact, it's a lot like one of Andy's picks coming up here that also didn't make my list. Same kind of thing. So yeah, loved Weapons.
Weapons was on my honorable mentions. It is really good filmmaking, and you could never really guess where the film is going. It has a little bit of that Rashomon Pulp Fiction feel, where it's told anachronistically from different points of view. It's about a lot of different things. No one could really pinpoint what it was at, and even Zach Kreger is like, it could be about a lot of things. You could kind of figure it out.
Yeah,
it was a really interesting movie. And it was one of the few original and successful films of the year. Really looking forward to his Resident Evil. Getting to our number 5. My number 5, Superman. What the superhero film is slowly kind of dying in Hollywood, and Superman was kind of a jolt to that. We got what is probably the more, I hate to use the phrase, comic book accurate version of Superman as a very kind of Boy Scoutish, but an inspiring figure. And we're dropped into an existing world. We're not doing origin story. We're not doing like Death of Krypton and like landing in Kansas. We know all that. We're moving on. There's lots of we get Nicholas Holt as Lex Luthor. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Just a fun adventure, highly rewatchable, good music drops. Like James Gunn is off to a good start in the DCU.
My number 5 is Eddington, so I'll jump to my number 4, which was also Superman. Perfect time to talk about it. Yeah, Superman is like Saturday morning cartoon, and that was one that I was really skeptical about. Superman is very difficult to adapt. A lot of people have said that this may be the best Superman film since the original Richard Donner Superman, which is huge praise for James Gunn. They're big shoes to fill, man. Like a very big shoes to fill. I don't know how you jump over from Marvel to DC. You take on the whole thing. You roll out another season of Peacemaker, and then you say, okay, we're doing Superman. It's happening. Like somehow he managed to stick the landing. I know people that saw this and just thought it was okay. I know people that saw this and liked Fantastic Four more, not me, but I like Superman manages to be some kind of postmodern, but also original. It feels old, but also new. It's fresh. And man, the casting is just so killer. Corn Sweat is Soups, rocks. Rachel Brosnahan rocks. Nicholas Holt, divine. Can't wait to see the sequel.
My number 4 is Hamnet, which we just saw a couple of weeks ago. Of course, this is the movie starring Jesse Buckley and Paul Mescal, directed by Chloe Zhao. It's about the writing of Hamlet. Well, it's really about their relationship. It's Jesse Buckley's character Agnes. It's her story, and William Shakespeare is kind of playing second fiddle to her. But it's about the death of one of their children and how that affects their relationship, inspires him to mourn through the writing of the play Hamlet. And again, it's about healing through the arts. Some very, very powerful scenes. Tough subject matter. A lot of films this year about the toughness of motherhood, for sure.
Number 3 for me, Marty Supreme. I know we're about to talk about it here in a second, so I don't want to give too much away, but you may have heard from critics around the internet that it might be one of the most exciting films of the year. We'll talk about it more. For me, I liked it a lot. I honestly thought it was a 2. I really did. About halfway through Marty Supreme, I'm like, I think this is my second favorite film of the year because number 1 was a lock shortly after I saw that film and rewatched it. But I went back and rewatched number 2 just the other day, just a couple days ago. I was like, you know what? Let me see. Before Marty Supreme takes prime pole position here in the race, let me go revisit some favorites, and I'm very satisfied with the list this year. I like where I'm at. Number 3 is Marty. We'll talk about it more in a second. What's your number 3, Andy?
28 years later, which we've already talked about. And now we get into the exciting part. My number 2 is One Battle After Another. Of course, this was Paul Thomas Anderson's big film starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Tiana Taylor, newcomer Chase Infinity, about an aging revolutionary kind of thrust back into the life. Number of things going on. It's masterful filmmaking, 2.5 hours, never slows down a bit, just keeps the gas on. Incredible performances all around. There's talk that it's going to sweep the Oscars. I'm confident that's probably true. Incredible film.
Yeah, incredible Sean Penn in that movie. I don't even like Sean Penn a lot, but good God, Captain Stephen J. Lockjaw is the absolute worst. This is where we're trading barbs. This is when Andy and I are really going at it here, critic for critic. Yeah, my number 2 is Sinners. Man, Ryan Coogler put out Sinners following Black Panther 2. I think this movie is so cool, and we saw it in like February, right? We went and saw an IMAX 70 here in town, which was crazy, and it was a great show. And then I had kind of revisited in October. I like fell asleep watching on the couch one night, and just a couple days ago I went and rewatched it again. It was like, God, this movie's gas all the way through. It's so cool. They don't even get to like the real premise of that movie till an hour into it, which is nuts. I clocked it. Like, we don't actually get to like the juke joint is playing music and Remick is showing up at the door and asking to come in and playing goofy Irish jig. An hour. Like, that first hour is just like setup and thoughtful and exposition, and it's digging into like the pain of these people and where they're headed. I know I'd be talking more about premise, but I feel like if you're listening to this at this point, you probably know what Sinners is. So Andy, please, what is your number 1 favorite film of the year?
My number 1 was was Sinners. So this is where we trade our ones and two. Yeah, I thought Sinners was incredible the first time I saw it. It's amazing. The first act, the vampires don't show up till pretty late in the film, and you don't even care because there's so much drama just in that first act, setting up the relationships between these people that have known each other and have gone away and come back, and the pain that they all live under in Jim Crow South. And it's not about overthrowing these systems of oppression. It's about surviving them through our arts and culture. And it has one of my favorite scenes of the year, which is the piercing the veil of past and present in the middle, where the big IMAX scene brought me to tears in the middle of the movie. Just incredible stuff. That's my number one. And your number one is?
One Battle After Another. You're number two. Yeah, no, I was super into this movie. I was just super into it when it came out. It's funny and engaging. I'm a big sucker for like the Coen brothers, The Big Lebowski, and the inspiration of this kind of dude character in the middle of this like postmodern revolution era where like the French 75 has had their day, like trying to attack political institutions. Now these people are on the run and hiding. We jump 16 years forward, and Leonardo DiCaprio is playing this like absolute bum ghetto Pat, like who cannot keep his life together and is too stoned to remember the stupid code words, who's trying to save his daughter, who is like away and maybe taken by this guy who's out to get her for these reasons that are multifaceted. You got the Christmas adventures. You got this insane car chase at the end. You got a great soundtrack. Benicio del Toro's doing goofy stuff in it. Like, it is the kind of script that I just feel like Sinners, just so only ever comes along once a decade or something. Like, from a writer-director who is just so locked in. And these two movies, man, like, there's a reason we're trading them. Like, they're just so good. And like, and I don't know, that they're excellent. 2025 has been an incredible year at the movies. Like, I'm so glad we got to cover them. There are a few features we didn't cover that I did want to mention, and then we got to get on honorable mentions. Films we did not watch this year, just off the top of my top dome. It was just an accident. The Secret Agent, No Other Choice, and Testament of Van Lee. For anybody out there, it's like, how did you not cover Park Chan-wook? We just didn't see it. You know what I mean? Hopefully in January and February,
it hasn't been
we can
released.
get to seeing these things.
We
We just can't. Like, it came out in two cities, which is California and New York. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. We are limited by the technology of our time. But let's get into honorable mentions. A surprisingly long list for both of us, but I think it was just, a big year.
Right. We'll go through these quickly. Presence, which was the Steven Soderbergh ghost story from the point of view of the ghost, some interesting camera work, experimental film, released about this time last year. Sing Sing, which was actually 2024 release, but we didn't get to see it until 2025. Materialist, which was Celine Song's follow-up to Past Lives, which came out over the summer. The rom-com successful film. Ballad of a Small Player, which was the Colin Farrell, Edward Berger film about a gambler in Macau. Great score by Volker Bertelmann. That movie not recognized enough because it was straight to Netflix. Weapons, which I've mentioned. Warfare, which was the Alex Garland A24 war film. Generally not a fan of war films, but this was a very kind of experiential thing about a small group of soldiers who are ambushed, and they try to very accurately recreate this, like you feel like you're in a war zone. Kind of incredible stuff. And then Marty Supreme is also on my honorable mentions.
Honorables for me include Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery, Materialist, which I'm excited to say was definitely our highest performing video of the year on the channel.
Still getting comments.
Dude,
this week.
Crazy engagement. If I could figure out a way, if we could cook up whatever cosmic like magic we pulled together to make the Materialist video pop and do that all the time, my God, this channel we'd be doing
retired
this full time. Oh my God. But yeah, shout out to anybody that checked out the Materialist review. Go dip into the comments. You can find somebody to fight with, I promise. People are very, very cross about that movie. It's awesome. Would recommend. Black Bag, Ballad of a Small Player, The Monkey, which the longer I look at that, the more I want to pull it off. But dude, I really laughed
I pulled it off.
I know. I really laughed at. We got to make like Eggs and Scramble. You know what I mean? I rewatched it in October. It's weird and it's not very good. But you know what? It's an honorable mentions list. I think it's okay to say it. It's fine. I really did like Warfare. I kind of forgot about that movie. Nickel Boys from 2024, which we watched this year. That movie was really cool. Train Dreams on Netflix. Covered that just a few weeks ago. And Sentimental Value was also a winner for me. Worst of the year. You got 3 of these.
Well, I wanted to say real quick about Train Dreams. I liked about the first. People are going crazy for that movie, and there's lots of
Yeah.
Oscar talk. I like the first half of that movie, and then I wasn't as warm on the second
I
half. But
think I think in the way that like you pull Hamnet kind of pulled you in emotionally and it ended up making your top 10. Like Train Dreams kind of caught me that way. And it didn't make my top, but yeah, I don't know. In the same way I was just like I genuinely felt moved by that movie and I can't really explain why. It was like a 29-day shoot. Oh my god, they had no budget. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, worst of the year.
The Electric State, which was the Millie Bobby Brown headed sci-fi thing, apparently like a $300 million movie. It's so boring. It looks terrible. It's Netflix slop. I think it kind of takes place in the 80s. It's inspired by a graphic novel kind of coffee table book, which I bought and intend to read. But oh man, it's just so bad. And when you think of how many films could have been made for $300 million.
Yeah, my worst of the year is Electric State as well. I struggle to think of anything that I had a tougher time getting through. It's just miserable. Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt are like on green screen sets wearing the worst wigs you've ever seen in a movie ever. And it's just like full of advertising and it's chunky. And then you go look at the source material and you're like, oh, this like what it came from was like thoughtful and interesting and nuanced. But of course, they gave it to the directors of The Gray Man on Netflix, and it comes out a fat bomb. Hilariously, these are also the directors of Avengers, Infinity War, and Doomsday, and Endgame. So Joe and Anthony Russo are back at it. You know what I mean? Give them a big budget and a bunch of stars, and of course they can turn out a hit. Who couldn't, right? It's like a completion assignment. Anyway, yeah, Electric State was awful. I really struggled with it. It was bad.
I also have Happy Gilmore 2, which I thought was a sequel way too long in the making. Not funny. It's only 90 minutes, and I was like struggling. No, actually, I think it's a full 2 hours. I was struggling to get through it. Painfully unfunny, in my opinion.
Happy Gilmore is my favorite of those old stoner boner comedies that Adam Sandler used to do. So I have a particular soft spot in my one heart for that. Like that's that. But I get why everybody else is like, come on, it's rough. And then this other one's it's almost mean. Come on, what do you mean?
I have Ella McKay from that we just reviewed in our last show. This movie's kind of a disaster. It's some relic from like 30 years ago. And I heard on a different show, it's not so much that it's bad as much as it's a disaster. It's just like the plots don't make sense. Our relationships with our characters don't make sense. Like it's all just so outdated. All of it doesn't make much sense. And apparently James L. Brooks, he made a deal that he was like, well, let me do Ella McKay and there's another project that he's looking for.
The Simpsons 2. Yeah.
That's what it was. Disappointments.
Yeah. Disappointments. Highest to lowest, the new Spike Lee film starring Denzel Washington.
Oh man,
we covered this on the channel. I'm going to be on the first probably 25 minutes I was with highest to lowest. Like Spike's making weird decisions, but he's an auteur. That's the way he's going to do it. And then as soon as the kidnapping plot kicks off, it is the most soap opera melodramatic junk I have seen in a theater. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, he's slipping. And then when I came out of the theater and read the reviews, people were like, Spike has he has the way he does move. I'm like, okay, all right, sure. Like I don't know what I expected for highest to lowest, but I was disappointed, and that's why it's going on there. I was sorely disappointed. I remember coming out of it and being like, talking to Andy, like, dude, was that as bad for you as it was for me? Like, oh my God,
yeah.
Rough.
Got 20 minutes into it, and I was like, oh no.
I know. Yeah, no. It's like, oh boy. I mean, it comes and goes. There's some sequences in there that really work cool, and there's other stuff that's just like horribly chunk. Like y'all couldn't have got reshoots on this. Like, but who's gonna tell Spike Lee no? So, personal. I don't know if anybody's gonna listen far enough into this to tell me I'm wrong, but if you do, feel free to hit me in the comments. I guess. Yeah, highest to lowest for me.
I also have Bring Her Back on here, which a lot of people do like. There's just a little bit too much child abuse in that movie, and I was like just kind of sick by it. Also, we both have this one on our list: A Big Bold Beautiful Journey, which was the Colin Farrell, Margot Robbie rom-com, surrealist kind of Life of Walter Mitty thing. Just not good. Really long, boring. And again, it's a look back at their lives, and they go back in time, and it was just really underwhelming. And it looked bad from the trailer, and it absolutely was.
I was hopeful. It's directed by Hikari, who's a prominent Japanese director. It's got Colin Farrell, and I haven't seen Margot Robbie in a movie since what, Asteroid City, right? Before that, Barbie. Like, she's been very quiet. She's been like raising a kid, I think. Like, so I was just like, you know what? I love Farrell. I know he's doing Ballad of a Small Player. I love Margot Robbie. This director's exciting. I just figured between those three, I was watching the trailers, but I was like, maybe it's just a bad trailer. Maybe it's just something like, maybe there'll be some magic. It's a big, bold, and it just wasn't. And it's a bummer. And yeah, it's a disappointment. Mine too is also a big, bold, beautiful journey. Do you want to jump into TV? You want to review top 5 of the decade? Where you at?
Let's jump into TV. I kind of just have the top 5 of the decade list just going constantly, so don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna roll over to TV. I have a top 10. We're mostly